Thank you all for coming to the meeting tonight. Pastor Nate is here, and since Bob Porter's just coming in the door, we'll let him come into his seat. Bob Porter. And then we'll ask Pastor Nate to lead us in prayer.
Father, just thank you for the privilege to live where we do. Thank you for governance and authority. And I praise you that you can handle the whole world, as much as it's hard sometimes to lead just a small city. So we praise you for your ability and wisdom and power. And thank you for those who have taken on a small role here. Give them grace to do their job well, please. And I ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you coming out.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming.
Bye-bye. Kristen will not be here tonight. She texted me earlier and is ill. But I'll ask the rest of you to join me in the pledge as soon as I call the meeting to order. Meeting's called to order. Please join me on the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Shirley, would you take roll call, please?
Mayor Hammond,
Here.
Larry Lambert,
Here.
Mike Connell,
Here.
Bob Porter, Mindy Galvin, here, Kamal Ghazi,
Here.
Kristen Bale. Kristen's absent.
Looking for approval of our agenda.
I move that we adopt the agenda as printed.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Larry. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And now our reading and approval of the minutes of our previous meeting, which was November 6th.
I move we suspend the rules, waive the reading, and approve the minutes from the November 6, 2025 regular meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Kamal. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
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 Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. And we are now at our pre-approved reports and presentations. And we have a presentation from Edwin Allen or Alan Allen?
It always,
Edwin.
it can kind of go either way.
Say it
I
back.
think Justin wanted to intro us here.
Justin
That's why I didn't sit down. I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna.
Justin
give everything.
Horvath from the SEDP is here to help introduce them.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for having us tonight. We've got a couple partners of the team, Ben from Allen Edwin Homes, and my good long-term colleague, Christine Rader, who actually used to work for MEDC. Now she's with Michigan Growth Advisors, right? So we're gonna do a little tag team approach for you tonight. We did have sort of a prelim meeting with the mayor, Larry, a few of the staff members, I think Mindy was there too. To kind of set the stage for this, but we're here tonight to really do a deep dive on this. And I won't steal all their thunder, but what I want to do is kind of set the table. So as the head of economic development in Shiawassee County, we have really become focused on trying to drive more housing development throughout the county. We know we've got to grow our population in Perry, in Shiawassee County. We need more families in our communities with children. Our schools absolutely need to have more enrollment in their districts. We need more shoppers in our stores. Our businesses need more potential employees. So that housing shortage that we've seen across the county, and I think we all know it's probably a state and a national issue, has really created a crimp in our ability to grow the economy. So we have really taken a deep dive in trying to address that through new home building, apartment building, condos, all the above to try to make that happen. So we got projects going all over the county, but I got to tell you, the most active builder right now that we're working with is Ben and Allen Edwin Homes. And you're going to hear their story a little bit later, but we have been very fortunate to begin this relationship. We've built homes already. They want to build more here, and it's very exciting because we believe they have the capacity to make a major dent in our housing shortage in Shiawassee County, including a potential project right here in Perry. And we actually, I won't go the whole distance on the story tonight, but one of the reasons why this is happening was, and Ben actually started this with a conversation with me, was actually a project in one of your sister cities, Durand, down the road. They ended up getting some lots there. They built some homes, and then they decided they wanted to build a few more homes. And so the reason we're here tonight in front of the council is actually a project we worked in Durand. What you're going to be asked to consider, we asked the city of Durand to consider, and they went ahead and not only did they approve it, but it actually got approved in almost record time, which there's no time limit on this, but we basically showed them how welcoming we were in Durand to housing, and so they have gotten very positively aggressive in now doing projects hopefully here, Bennington Township, City of Corunna, City of Laingsburg. I mean, they're really all over. So here's the big thing before I turn it over to them. I want to set the stage. They're looking to develop right now tonight. We're going to talk about Perry Lakes. And as we know, there's been some very good development in Perry Lakes. There's been building that's happening there. It's not necessarily been a subdivision that's been, languishing. We've seen some positive growth there. You're going to be asked to consider, as a council, whether or not to support a potential resolution for a tool, and we'll get into what the tool is, that will be needed for them to be able to complete that project and hopefully be able to do more in the city. So we're going to really deep dive into that tonight. But what I do want to say right up front is I definitely believe they're a quality builder. I do believe this is a tool that is important. It is necessary, and I actually think has the potential of having significant value to the city above and beyond just the actual homes being built. And I'll leave it with this right now, because this is something that's been coming up in other communities. We know this, what we're going to talk about tonight is related to property taxes and the property taxes generated from this new development. What we've been having these conversations with other communities, there's been concern and question over if we use property taxes to support a development, are we going to be able to provide the services we need? Are we going to be able to meet the infrastructure needs of our community if there's some sort of tax benefit that the developer receives? And what I've seen from their support in these other communities is not only are they open to working with communities like yourself to make sure you receive some kind of dollars for services, but, and here's the punchline, one of the things we've looked at is this has the opportunity tonight, if you move forward with it, to actually harness some property tax dollars that are above and beyond the city's millage, the other taxing jurisdictions in the county, and we'll get into the details, to be able to support the infrastructure needs of the entire city system. So as we were talking before some of the council members came in, we know there's a lot of work that needs to be done on the city water system, the city sewer system in a broad capacity. We don't know how we're going to pay for it. This tool could potentially allow some revenue from this development to go to pay for system-wide improvements. So I just want to kind of tease that a little bit, because I know that's a big issue for the city to try to figure out how to fund these things going forward. And I think this has the potential to do it. So once again, we will get into all those details here tonight. We've learned a lot in conversations throughout the county. You probably have a ton of questions. We're going to run through the whole basics of the program. We're going to answer your questions as best we can, so you're all informed and the public's informed, and hopefully, ultimately, you'll be willing to move ahead with this project. So I think I teased it enough. I'm going to turn it over to my friend Ben, and he'll take it from here.
Thank you, Justin.
I appreciate that. I got some handouts.
Oh, great, sure.
The first thing that I'm going to start with is some elevations of the houses that we're proposing for the Perry Lakes subdivision. You'll find, I think, that these elevations are very much in line with the character and nature of the community that's been built thus far. There's some loose ones there. I won't take it from the bottom and then. Sorry, sir.
Oh, you're fine. There you go.
And then we have sort of a really basic overview of the Perry Lakes subdivision, what we're looking at for this project.
Thank you.
Yes. I would have never made it as a school teacher. I can't do nothing.
Thank you.
Yes. So a little bit about Alan Edwin from the top. Alan Edwin was founded in 1995, 30 years ago. This year in Portage, Michigan. We kind of started our life as a custom home builder back then. Around about 2005, we decided that we could see a shift in the housing market coming, and we needed to move from being a custom home builder to more of a production style home builder. What's a production style home builder? Well, we're going to have a limited series of plans. We're going to have 12 plans in 3 different tiers, and we're going to build those homes, and we're going to get really good at building those homes. We're going to optimize it for efficiency and try to manage price. As a result, in 2008, when everything was going down, Alan Edwin, between 2008 and 2012, saw its greatest growth. So much so that the Wall Street Journal called us a Midwest miracle in 2012. Because we were one of the few home builders nationwide that was actually growing through that period. And it had to do mostly with that plan. We've done really well. We've since grown from the state of Michigan to Indiana to Ohio. I had the opportunity to open up the Ohio market about 2 years ago. The growth has been really good. As you know, the housing market, everything's going crazy. One of the things that's going crazy with it though is pricing, right? We're literally getting to the point where houses are being priced out of people's ability to actually afford them. 2 years ago, the state of Michigan adopted through its existing brownfield legislation a mechanism to help spur on additional house building activity in the state of Michigan. Christine, who's with me, she'll be able to speak more about the specifics. I'm never great with that. But right around 2019, they did a study and they realized they were something like 20,000 houses short statewide. And that was back then. Over time, it's actually only increased because even though we're the #1 single-family home builder in the state of Michigan, we only build 1,000 homes a year. And that's across Michigan, Ohio, and Indiana. So we're barely making a dent in that gap. Because of that change in legislation, in the brownfield legislation that allowed communities to exercise the brownfield plan to support home building activities, Alan Edwin this year made a commitment at the Mackinac Conference that we were going to try to build 2,500 homes to meet this missing middle portion of the economy, of the housing market nationwide. Missing middle. What is missing middle? This is people who make 80 to 120% area median income. In Shiawassee County, I believe that's $84,000 to $103,000 or $104,000 a year. So these are people who, they're a mechanic. They're a school teacher who hopefully can hand out stuff better than I can. They're a nurse, right? They're your policeman. The folks who make the city run the way it should, make your community function. And so recognizing there's that gap, and with this charge to try and help bridge this gap over the next 10 years, Alan Edwin has set out to identify communities across the state that would participate in helping us reach that goal. As a single-family home builder, one of the things that I get asked when I come to Perry, or when I went to Bennington, or when I've gone to Durand, or why did you pick here, right? One of the reasons we picked here is because one of the single hardest things for a home builder to do is to find a place to put a home, okay? You'd say, well, there's a field over here, a piece of ground over there. Moving from a vacant piece of land to a lot that's ready to be built on is between 18 to 24 months from beginning to end. Perry was, one of the reasons we picked Perry is because Perry Lakes has available lots that can be built on. Perry Lakes has been a good community. I've driven through it now. I think tonight was my 7th time driving through it, just so that I can get a feel for what it's like, what it is. Perry Lake still has between 20 and 24 lots that still need to be built on there. We currently are under contract for 10 of those. Additionally, we've begun early conversations with, I reached out to Sam Ide about purchasing the next portion of the project in order to be able to continue moving on to continue this development at some point. With that, you know, what we're asking for is with using the TIF, this brownfield plan, what we do is we go out, we have to go build the house, all right? It's completely funded at our own expense. The city never writes a check to us before we get the house built. What ends up happening is any increment above the current amount you collect for taxes that gets created gets captured by the Shiawassee County Brownfield Authority. Shiawassee Brownfield Authority then verifies the fact that we did the work, that we actually have genuine expenses that prove out, we have to prove to the county that we incurred these expenses, and then that money is captured through the Brownfield Plan, and the Brownfield Plan, Brownfield Authority remits that money back to us. That goes for, so what this is for infrastructure improvement, subgrade improvement, driveways, but it doesn't actually, it's not the actual vertical construction of the house per se. It's anything that may need to be done at grade or below that is an eligible expense for the development, for recapture. With that, we would like to, have you consider supporting a non-binding resolution to have us explore this more in depth with you guys so that we can demonstrate what the plan can do for the supercharging this and getting us to build it. Our goal is to have this entire, our 10 lots that we have under construction, or under contract rather, built in somewhere between 12 and 18 months. We'd like to have them available. Our goal is to have them priced between $320,000 to $350,000, very much keeping with the character of the community. The houses are, as you can see, between 3 and 5 bedroom. Our average house will be a 4-bedroom home designed to appeal to families and draw families to the community. One of the benefits of that is the per pupil funding follows children. So if you have a family move in with 2 children, the state funding mechanism follows them. The school increases its operating balance as a result. I think, Christine, is there anything that I'm forgetting that would be good? I feel like I'm falling apart.
No, you're
Sorry.
doing a great job. I have a couple
Sorry.
of things I'm just gonna hand out to them so they
Yes.
have for reference. So this is a Brownfield 101. It's got a lot of information on how Brownfield works. It talks about obviously there's the contamination that this law was, founded with back, a few decades ago. They, as Ben mentioned, they modified it a couple of years ago to allow for housing, to address the housing shortage, So, so this handout goes through, what he already mentioned, eligible activities, how it works, where we freeze the base of what is being collected today, and then as the incremental tax capture increases after the homes are built, that gets captured, and then it helps to pay for the infrastructure and the site prep for building these homes. We like to look at a cascading payback, so we're looking at, covering the subsidies for the rental homes that will be held at a affordable rate for 10 years, I think, on this plan. So it's a 10-year cap of renting these homes to people that he mentioned that are fitting that income level. And it's the missing middle, it's the workforce housing. This is, today we're in a country where the average age for buying your first home is creeped up to 40 years old. So we're really looking at a crisis across the nation, which Justin mentioned, for affordable housing and for people to eventually be able to have their own home and have their kids in schools. The rentals for this, I think there's 5, so it's about 40% of the homes, or 50% of the
It's
homes?
50%.
50% of the homes. And then the others will be the market rate for sale.
Correct.
This plan, you have a county brownfield authority that would look to the city council here to be supportive of this, and then this would go to the county BRA as well as the County Board of Commissioners to eventually approve. But of course, you need the local support and make sure that this is a project that you want to see in your community. So we're here to answer questions, make sure that you're not wondering. A couple of the questions that we've heard across the towns that we've been in the state, are the rentals do they look different than the ones we're gonna have people buying? No, they're all built. You see the elevations of what they're going to look like. They blend in with the character of the community. They blend in with each other. And there is a maintenance. Well, you can cover this.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I appreciate it. No, I appreciate it. My brain runs empty every so often, so she helped get me restarted again. So one of the components of this is a rental component. We have a rental arm of our company called Copper Bay. One of the things that a lot of people hear rental and I know immediately people are, I don't necessarily love that. The reality is the ownership profile in America on houses has changed. About 7 years ago, we started retaining a portion of the houses we built to rent. We wanted to see what's this all about? Because we've heard about it, right? We'd heard the build to rent. You can go Google it. There are a ton of builders nationally who are doing it. Who would ever, was our initial question, who would ever rent a house that they could buy, right? We currently have about 600 homes that we rent. We have 0 vacancy, none. We're actually running about 17 short. Average rent is between $2,400 to $2,800 a month. And then we thought, well, certainly, seriously, I was in this conversation when we decided to dig in to figure this out. We thought certainly, the reason they're renting is because they don't have the credit or they don't have the money. 95% of the people who rent from us currently could put a down payment down tomorrow. They have the money, they have the credit. What's happened is people have said, they've changed their thinking about how they're interacting with their home. They've said, you know what, 10 years from now I might not want to be here. 5 years from now my job may get transferred. I want to have the flexibility. that I don't have to try to sell this home. What we also find across our portfolio is actually most of the people who typically rent from us are above area median income, and they tend to skew older. That leads us to believe that what they're doing is they're looking at they're transitioning early towards retirement. They've raised their kids, they've decided that, you know what, I don't want to deal with the hassle when it's time to move out to Florida or wherever. I want to pre-position myself for that transition. So to that end, that's why people are choosing. On top of that, the next reason is it used to be you had to fix everything. You know, the guys in the room, you had to fix everything in your own house. Something broke, you had to fix it. Increasingly, people don't know how to take your water heater, your car breaks. It used to be you could go fix it. Nowadays, you need an OBD scanner and you need, $13,000 worth of equipment. Houses are much the same way. Your water heater breaks, your furnace breaks. No one knows. Technology has taken it, the ability for us to be able to just fix it away. People recognize that and they say, I don't have the skill set. Not only that, I'm dealing with my kids, my job. I want someone else to deal with that. So we find that the folks who rent from us are actually as good or better than people who typically could buy, and as a result, we don't typically have any issues with any of those folks. One of the other things that it provides the benefit for is it provides people, especially people who are starting household formation, the opportunity to get into a house, figure out where they're going, and then make that next step to actual home ownership. Instead of living in an apartment, it gives them the opportunity to provide their young kids a yard, a neighborhood to interact with, a street to ride a bike down, that sort of thing. So that's the reason why.
And that's a big part of the tax increment financing plan for the capture. So there's a portion of this plan, this plan gets adopted by, or approved by MSHDA. This is normally MEDC or EGLE are very involved in brownfield plans. This one goes straight to the housing authority at the state. They approve it. They're going to be looking at the average median incomes. They're going to be looking at the rents that are charged by the landlord to be sure that they are in compliance with holding those rents to the affordable workforce housing levels. And I think in this community, as you mentioned, like these are people this is a family of four that is making upwards of $103,000-$4,000. So these are traditional low-income voucher-type housing situations. This is truly a workforce housing opportunity. They will then, once they cover the lost revenue from the rentals, once that's paid back, it then cascades to the infrastructure and the hard costs that go into building this development. Like you said, that doesn't include the actual structures of the home. This is the streets, the approaches, the planting the trees, all of that sort of thing for the neighborhood. And then once that's paid back, we're going to look at paying the Brownfield Authority at the county, any administrative costs, as well as the interest on the project. So it's a cascading payback over, I think this is a 24-year plan, a 25-year plan. And this is the average of what we're seeing across the state with these housing TIFs, whether it's in the Upper Peninsula or Monroe or Benton Harbor or Detroit, and not just Allen Edwin, but other projects as well. So this is just one of those opportunities that we think is it's something that's filling a need for Shiawassee County and for the state and for the country to be able to have some housing that's going to be put into circulation for these families and others to be able to consider in your community.
And I stood up because this is kind of a tie back or going back to my tease at the beginning. The homes that have built in there recently, or quite honestly anywhere in the city gets the city millage. And you have to disperse those other taxing jurisdiction millages to them. You don't get access to that. With this plan, we get access to those dollars. Those monies, they go to those other taxing jurisdictions under normal circumstances. We get to harness that money to go into this development. That is a big win for the city. That is keeping some of those tax dollars in the city versus having to leave. The other thing too, the reason the state gets involved is the school taxes, and really, I think the school millage, the non-homestead millage would be the highest millage rate, if that's right, Megan, if I'm not mistaken. The beautiful thing about it is they actually get made whole. So if this gets approved and the state approves it, they actually gain all of that new revenue from the new homes that would go right to Perry School. So that's another win as well. So economically, not only would you get, obviously, the homes, quality owners, quality renters, but we'd be able to harness those dollars to help pay for project costs too, so.
When does the city start to actually receive property taxes from these properties?
You would continue receiving what you're receiving today from the properties ad infinitum.
The $10 per lot that we get now. we will continue.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah.
It's $10 per lot.
Is it $10?
Yeah. Some-
For real?
Some of them are cents.
Some of them are
Not much.
Pennies.
Not much.
Mhm.
How is that
That
possible?
because it's odds.
Oh,
I actually do have a few questions.
yeah,
I have a
When-
question too.
yes.
When did Alan Edwin start? When was it? When did you guys start?
As a company?
Yeah, yeah.
1995.
How long have you been there?
How long have I been there?
Yeah.
I've been here for 4 years now.
4 years?
Yes.
Wait, the reason I'm asking is
Yes.
it's a 25-year plan.
Yes.
So why is it that you want it captured by Brownfield for the money to be reimbursed to you back?
Yes.
Why is it non-binding resolution?
Non-binding resolution. So with the development of Christine and her folks from Michigan Growth Advisors, they're the ones who put together our preliminary plan. That for a meeting like tonight, we go high level, just trying to quick snapshot this. Putting together an actual proposed plan is pretty intensive.
Sure.
And it's a big undertaking. So before we go through that, before we make a decision about whether we should go that route, we think that it's best to ask you guys, the folks who run the city, hey, is this something you'd like to explore? If it is, great, we're gonna go to the next step and we're gonna start to put flesh on the bone for the next conversation. The purpose of this conversation is early education, bring a little awareness around this, and then continue the conversation moving forward to get a greater understanding around
Absolutely.
it.
Now, are the houses rent to own, or is it just rent?
Just rent.
You said it ranges between 2,400 to 2,800 per.
Our current, when we rent houses,
Uh-huh.
on a market rate basis, we rent between $2,400 and $2,800.
Those houses are marketed 50% of the home as middle home, as
Yes.
missing middle.
That's correct.
So
We would look at that then to be, right now, we have a control rent or rather a suggested rental rate right now of $2,049.
the reason I'm asking this
Yes.
question is if it's 103,000, I went with the highest,
Mhm.
that would mean a family will have about 2,600 every 2 weeks. That's
Mhm.
almost half of what they are making. Does that make sense?
The level is generally at 30% goes into the housing cost. We're using HUD guidelines for income levels as well as the MISHDA and the Shiawassee County income guidelines. So these rents that we calculated should come out to about 30% of a household's contribution to their housing, which is I think that's kind of a national standard to not spend more than that. So that's where,
Yeah, 'cause 6 times, if we just take it.
That's what I was.
Yeah,
I was
6,000.
doing the math.
6,000 times 12 would be 72,000 a year, right? And we're talking 109,000.
Well, you're taking taxes, this.
Yeah, no, it's on a gross basis,
So-
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Average, I feel it's a lot
Okay,
for a person. Not everyone, I mean, if you're marketing it for the 103,
mm-hmm,
that I could be wrong, but I feel it's a little high. I mean, it's a good project. I'm
Yeah.
not, I'm
Oh,
not
no, no,
hating
no,
it.
no.
I think it's a great one.
what I think you
I-
find is that it's lower than, you know, someone's, you know, principal interest and tax payment for that similar house being purchased, right? And that's what that's the reason why the rentals versus the for sale. There are gonna be people who just can't even make that next step to the purchase product today. They're aspirational, they'd like to get there, but they need a leg to transition, to branch out.
And it is only 5 units out of 25 houses that you're looking to build?
We're under contract currently for 10.
10?
I believe, after being through the community and looking at a plat map I have, I'm counting between either 20 to 24 lots that are currently not built on in that community.
Are you looking at phase 3 then? Because
No,
there's
I'm-
not 24 empty lots around that lake.
Just from this loop right here, and I could be wrong, but I know that I'm under contract for 10, and so it's this loop coming around here.
You might want to revisit that.
I will.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. Larry had a question.
A question. I know you're in a number of places in Michigan
Yes.
and other locations and are exploring and
Mhm.
engaging in the TIF activity. Of those places that you're actively building, how many of those are new empty lots parcels that you start with? I've got a real concern with
Yeah.
trying to take and plop. I read where the lots are. You're literally proposing plopping on the water, in amongst other houses that have been there, that have been built, purchased.
Mhm.
I don't believe there's a single rental in Perry Lakes. I could be wrong, but there certainly aren't many if there are. Help me understand. I
Yeah.
think this is a little
Absolutely.
specialized, and I understand why you're doing it, because
Mhm.
obviously it reduces your investment to develop roads and water system and everything else is all there. But
And we'll be paying, part of that is too, when we pull the permit, we'll be paying the fees, the tap fees and all that sort of
Understand,
stuff to the city. But no, you're exactly right. So to hit on what you're talking about, Larry, is the fact that, yes, this community was put in the ground. How long ago was the last phase? I mean, the paperwork I've looked at suggests the original development portion was done 20-plus years ago.
Yeah,
The first
20,
piece.
25, 23 years ago was phase 1.
Yep,
Phase 2 has come on in the last 10 years or so,
exactly.
12 years.
So a lot 10 years ago, a lot cheaper to build than a lot this year, right?
I don't know,
I-
what are you paying for those lots?
Those lots,
Yeah.
right now, we are under contract at $40,000 a lot.
You know what I sold those for 20 years ago, 25,
I can't
or
imagine.
30 years ago? For the same price, $40,000 a piece. You're not thinking of the same developer that I'm thinking of.
No,
No.
I don't, who's the?
I mean, you're thinking of prices lots that were a lot less years and years ago. These lots sold for the same price then as they are now.
Uh-huh.
That's why they didn't sell.
Yeah. But in today's standard, $40,000 looks like looks like a pretty reasonable
Yeah.
deal.
Oh, yeah.
You know, from the standpoint of, as someone who buys, so I never really told you about me a little bit. I do land acquisition for Allen Edwin, so my job is, I cover 3 states, and I look for lots and land so that we can build houses. When we look at it, just an average lot today comes in And it doesn't really matter kind of where you plunk it. You're talking somewhere between $85,000 and $90,000. And that's an economy lot,
Yeah.
right? So, Perry Lakes, this is one of the reasons that brought us here, right? We had an opportunity.
Yeah.
We have lots that work from an initial standpoint of being able to help drive the price down.
Yeah.
What we know, though, is that, I'm trying to circle back to your
I'm going to
question.
come back to the fact that I
I mean,
think your proposal is unique and not your
Yeah,
typical
oh, yeah,
footprint.
yes.
Your typical footprint, at least what little research I've done on your, you got an establishment in DeWitt
Yeah,
that looked like it was an empty field that you started to develop and get streets and roads and everything else.
absolutely.
And I think that's
That's-
wrong, but I think that's your generic approach as opposed to trying to pick some ready-to-build lots.
Actually, that's not true. Our preferred methodology has always been disparate infill lots. Here's the reason why, going back to the top. When we go out and we buy a piece of vacant land, we're gonna have literally millions of dollars into it. And it's going to have an 18 to 24 month lead time. In the meantime, that's all that exposure, and we don't know no one knows what's gonna be in 2 years, right? And so our preferred methodology has always been to find different places. So to that point, Durand, we went to Creekside Estates. We bought a half-completed subdivision there. Clio, we just bought 108 lots in Clio that was completely done 25 years ago. The people never managed to figure out what to do with it. We're pursuing a very similar plan here. Petoskey, same thing. Subdivision put in 20 years ago, we're pursuing this same plan there. Tecumseh, beautiful. I mean, the most beautiful, no offense to Perry Lakes, the most beautiful site condo development I've ever seen in my life was put in 34 years ago. We're doing that there. Our methodology has always been, we would rather buy 10 or 12 lots in a community that's already done. It's a shorter exposure, allows us to get in the ground and go vertical faster, deliver a product to the market sooner.
Can you address Larry's question though, because I'm not hearing an answer to that.
Oh, where we're doing the TIF currently,
Where
where.
you're doing the TIF currently.
Yes. Marshall, Michigan, Valley View Estates, Briarwood Lane, Marshall, Michigan also. Clio, Pheasant Run. We are pursuing it in Durand, Creekside Estates. We are, where we're currently doing things.
Are those proposals interspersed among existing homes?
Correct.
Or taking a section that hasn't been developed?
Interspersed.
Interspersed, yeah.
Then Shirley had a question.
You actually took it. I was just saying to Sam about future development.
Yes.
And I just didn't know if it would include the phase 3 of.
That's what my hope
So
is.
That's.
So this is actually when I walked in and I sat down, I'm gonna take a picture after it. I've been trying to get a hold of him because, yes, we would like to continue. Because you guys are, our hope is that if we go through and we build 10, we fill out this first phase, that's going to give us the energy to be able to dive into the next phase and get that built. That next phase, we really feel, I feel, I'm not even gonna let anybody else take the blame. I feel is really teed up for the next portion of growth here. So to that end, I've contacted Sam, said, we have an interest, let's try to work through this. He's contacted me and said, hey, we're interested in having a conversation. We're trying to get through that. So there's a lot of opportunity, I think, there.
They called us to ask if we had any information on phase 3 this week.
Oh, they're looking for information for me.
That's why I was
Well, and I think the best, going back to Larry's question, I think the best comparison is Durant.
I mean, it's a sister community, once again, it's close by, you know, similar size and community. They did exactly what you said. You came in, there was interspersed, 14, I believe, 14 interspersed lots in a not fully built subdivision. You bought those from the city, actually. The city owned them. You built the homes, you got a good vibe, you felt comfortable about Durand, and now they're building out the rest of, it's called Creek Point Circle, which will include putting in infrastructure, and I think another 17 homes maybe, I think. But you were willing to take that next step to develop land and build out a subdivision because you got comfortable building on the lots first. And that would be the hope here. Should we move ahead?
Could I jump into
Yeah,
that?
please, Mayor Sue.
Yeah. The lots you're talking about in Durand went to foreclosure. They went to tax sale, that's why the city owned them. The lots here in Perry Lakes are not to tax sale.
No.
They are actively being built on. We have so far this year had 8 homes built in Perry Lakes. In 2024, we had 7 homes built in Perry Lakes. And years before, there have been fewer, but as the demand for housing has grown, so has the lots being built in Perry Lakes. I absolutely think this is a wonderful program for a complete development. To put them into an area where we're already seeing houses built and sold and built and sold, and we get tax money right away. We don't wait 20 years for the taxes to be paid. It doesn't seem appropriate to me, and I don't even get to vote. I'm just the mayor. So it's just,
How does the mayor not get to vote?
it's just how it's set up. But to me, it seems like it would be way better, certainly for the city, to see an entire development being put together using this program so that that tax capture money is used for the infrastructure that it's intended to be used for. I just,
This is a
that's
very
just
good
my
point.
opinion.
Is there a place in Perry that maybe they might be interested in?
Phase 3, the
Phase
back
3.
end of Country Estates, there's several places.
My appetite for the phase 3 is right on point with what Sue just said.
Okay.
I have some real heartburn personally with interspersing where it exists. You can sell to the community, to the people that are residents there that have been, and I've got a personal hat on, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
I'm one of those residents, but I'm trying to wear my council hat. Is if people ask multiple times, when is anything gonna be done with that other portion, phase 3? That would be an optimum spot. I know the cost for infrastructure is much higher, but it's, to me, much more saleable for the community, for the city, than trying to intersperse within the existing framework.
I have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Did you say that medium, or the houses range 320 to 350,000
That's what we would be aiming for, yes.
for all of them, or just the rental ones?
All of them.
Okay.
Because they're all gonna be the same, they're all gonna be out of that same package of houses that so that we're not gonna build a rental that is like a 1,400 square foot rental. It'll be an 1880 or an 1830, and it'll look like an 1880 down the street that'll be for sale.
Okay. That's very low for that subdivision, if you know what they're going for.
Yeah.
Also, you guys make money, so I don't understand how this benefits us at all. Because you're renting them, for how long do you rent them?
10 years.
Forever?
Well, we rent them, at the end of 10 years, I don't know what our disposition would be on that. Whether
Okay.
we would sell it, or if we would, as a for sale, owner occupied product or not.
And we don't get, the city doesn't reimburse any, other than tap and usage fees for water and sewer. We don't get any tax money for this. But I guarantee you, Edwin is making money.
Yes,
Okay.
we're a for-profit business.
Absolutely, everyone who's in business is for profit. Okay, so how does this benefit the city? Honestly, how does it, I don't think, my own opinion, we can, with our infrastructure, even support phase 3. With our water and our sewage, what we have. We have infrastructure issue here, we all know it. We can stick our head in the sand, but how does this benefit us? Honestly, how does it really help my neighbor, or the neighbor down the street? You know, that's why I have to, that's who voted for me. How do I sell it to them? And I use that word loosely, sell.
No.
Yeah, no,
How do I do that? How do I justify you guys, and don't get me wrong,
Yeah.
we all gotta make money,
Yep.
right? But how do I justify you guys making quite a bit of money? I know what houses go for, I'm in an industry that is very close to this, okay? So I know what builders make, I work for a lot of them.
Mhm.
So how do I sell it?
One of the things is with a project like this, first off, what we're doing with houses that we rent, we're not making anything off that. We're deferring that income, earning the
It's a write-off
sale
for the
price.
profit.
I
bet you it is, because no one does anything for free.
No one does anything for free, yes. I would tell you, one of the reasons we do it is because it's a counter-cyclical move against the housing market. The worst thing to be as a home builder is when the housing market stops selling houses. Right. One of the things that does continue doing is people still need a place to live, so they generally keep paying rent. That's the reason why one of the reasons for the diversification of our business for rental. How you say that, tell to the people that you represent why this is good for them. One, there's more money for the school district on a per pupil basis for every child that you bring into the area. I promise you, I haven't met a school that doesn't need more money, right? Two, you get more water. So one of the recurring things that you keep getting is water and sewer fees, month over month. So while your infrastructure doesn't have extra capacity, it was designed for the capacity that's currently existing, that's not being monetized right now. So you're gonna incur that. Additionally, your school district is going to get their debt millage paid as a result of the increased value. So they're going to get additional funds to pay down debt. And then if there's bond, they have a greater base for which to exercise for a greater bond rate down the road. Last, you're getting the states, any of the money that you're paying the county, the city is sending out to the county, to the state, you get the opportunity to take that money and use it here.
It doesn't
All
have
of
to
it, or a percentage of it?
All of it.
All of it, so okay, I'm just gonna throw numbers out.
be, but it doesn't
I don't
have to be
understand.
used in that same TIF area. It can be used anywhere in the city, just so you know.
I understand, thank you, I understood that. All the houses you built, for all 10, or only the ones that are
All 10.
rentals? All 10. Okay, so let's just throw a number out. They pay $5,000 a year in property tax.
Okay.
So that out of 10, that's $50,000. All that 50,000 comes to the state, to the city?
Comes to the whatever you currently are receiving, you get. The rest goes to the
Yeah, well, we
Brownfield
get,
Authority.
like the mayor said, we probably
Yeah.
get $10. So
Yeah.
that's $500 out of that.
And one of the things-
$45,000, 45, whatever the number is.
Yep.
Okay, so the rest of it goes to Brownfield, and then where does it go from there?
Then it would come to us
Does the builder?
for our eligible expenses, correct?
Okay, so let's say you had $20,000 expenses.
Then we'd only get $20,000.
So where's the rest of it go?
Then it goes back to you.
Okay, and you only had expenses the 1 year, you have less
Yeah.
expense the next year because of management of the houses.
Uh-huh.
So every year your goes down, your reimbursement, but the city's goes up, in theory.
In theory, yeah.
If this doesn't
Yeah.
get taken away, or it changes,
Mhm.
or something, is there any guarantees of the rate, rental? So this year you start
Yeah,
at
we have
$20,000 or
to-
$2,000 a month?
We
and
have to
then-
guarantee it. That's
For
part
how
of it.
long? So
10 years.
10 years, it's
Yeah.
gonna not increase.
Not increase, we're going to stay within 80 to 120% of the area median income. So if the area median income drops, we have to lower our
You
rent.
have to lower.
If it goes up, we have to raise it.
So,
I don't understand how, honestly, and
Yeah, it's okay.
maybe it's just because I'm not smart enough to understand this. How this helps people who own houses. I have grown children,
Mm-hmm.
and he can't afford houses, he couldn't afford to pay your rent.
Yep.
That's why he's getting a house, it's a lot less,
Mhm.
but they have to work at it to find the right house, right? So, we're marketing this, and this is what I hear.
Mhm.
You're marketing this for people who can afford a house, but we're gonna rent it to them. So we're already kind of a transient city. We have a lot of people that move in, move out. This is, a bedroom community, I call it.
Mhm.
So how does this help build our community?
One of the other things that it does is, okay, so you're, in the instance of your son, a lot of people won't be able to afford even a $350,000 house on a lake, right? But I bet you have neighbors and people in the community that'd like to move out of their house that they've been in and move to a nicer, newer house on that lake, that they haven't been able to afford it. Because to go to your point, yeah, I've looked at some of the new houses on that point that go out there, $424,000. I can't afford to live in that house.
And to your point, Bob, these renters are sticky, right? I mean, what's the average tenure of your?
2 to 5 years.
Because that's the same, I think, I may be talking outside my head, I don't know,
Yeah.
but that's probably if you averaged all the residents in here, I bet you it's somewhere in that range.
Mm-hmm.
It's changed. It used to be they stayed here forever. But since I've lived here for 10 years, my street, I've had like 4 people, different people in 3 houses, 3 or 4. So it's transient, it's moving around. They come in, they buy, and they sell. Stay here 2 to 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, and then they move.
Yep.
So again, I'm trying to see how
No, and I
does this
understand.
benefit the city?
So one of the things is, going back to the point I was making is, it moves people, it unfreezes the market for people who are in a home that would like to move to something newer, that they're moving out of their starter or their first home, so that people like your son, like my kids, can actually afford a house, right? And they have, the people who moved, have the opportunity. To get to your point, the average stay of a resident here between 2 and 5 years, I don't know how we fix that one. And I'm not proposing to fix
I
that
don't know
one.
either. It
No,
wasn't necessary to ask how you fix it.
Yeah.
I was just saying, how does it build a community?
Yeah.
By having people who are, I don't wanna call it a problem.
Yeah.
It's just, it is what it is, right? It could be, that's what happens now. I don't,
Yep.
not many people buy a house and stay in it for 30, 40 years. It just
It's-
doesn't happen.
No,
Anywhere.
no.
And 2 points of clarification that I want to make sure we're all clear on. And this is actually a great example why this is a non-binding resolution, because I hear questions on numbers, and we're talking hypotheticals here. If we moved ahead with that, it wouldn't commit the city to anything, because you'd actually have to pass another resolution. It would give them the confidence to spend the money to put all the numbers together to be able to come back with you to move past hypotheticals. The other thing, though, that I think there's some misunderstanding, and maybe it didn't come out clear. There is the opportunity for the city to negotiate some type of what we call a municipal services agreement, where there could be some of this revenue, because I heard some comments, the city gets nothing on this. That actually doesn't have to be true. You could negotiate an agreement with them as part of this that would give you dollars to the city to pay for services, because, these homes have to be serviced with public services. So you can negotiate that with them for that. And the city of Corona is doing that right now as well. So once again, what does that mean? Well, it depends on what the numbers are. So really the ask tonight is, are you willing to explore this? Are you willing to even consider it and take a deep dive into the numbers to want to learn what is that economic benefit?
And one more item to note is that as part of the TIF plan, if there are needs that the community has that would support housing in that part of town, and you mentioned water sewer upgrades or things that the city, is looking to do or whatever else, we have a project up in Traverse City area where the community, the city wanted to have a trail that, like a nature trail nearby, they put that plan, they put that into the plan. So they're paying for that through the TIF, and they're gonna be able to develop this trail that's gonna support the housing. There's water towers, there are, other upgrades for infrastructure, things that, again, would be tied directly, so when the people at Mishta look at the plan, they can justify that this is supporting the housing as part of the TIF plan. That would be something that would be acceptable. And then that payback would go to the city for their investment into that, the trail or the water tower or whatever. So there are other benefits to the community in that sense. If there's something that you need, this might be a way to be able to use it.
Yeah,
So.
and this is where we get broader than just the city millage, where we can harness those other dollars, because, and everything you're saying, we've heard from other communities. I think of what's the alternative? Let the market work, maybe another builder comes in, doesn't need this, does their thing. And that could happen, but this is an opportunity to harness additional resources beyond what the city millage is, county, schools, all that, and bring those dollars in to support Perry that you couldn't get otherwise. So that is a missed opportunity. Again, though, we're talking in hypotheticals. You don't have numbers behind it. And that's why we're hoping you would move ahead at least to want to get the numbers so you have something specific to react to.
I mean, getting numbers is easy, why don't you guys give us numbers? I mean, like, if it's not, but we're not agreeing to anything. Does that make sense? Yeah, if you wanna get numbers, get us numbers and come here and
Agreeing
present
to them
it.
spending resources.
Absolutely, we're not gonna turn you down, but what's expected from us today? We've got the education, I would like to see actual numbers, cause if we're gonna talk about something, we wanna have details. That's where I am.
And I know, and I agree.
If you want support, go get numbers, absolutely, go get it.
This is what they're talking about.
Yeah.
Did you read that?
I did not read that.
There you go.
Okay.
I think at this point, at 8 PM here at night, and we still have an audit report to see.
Yes.
This has taken longer than I thought it would take, but I'm glad, it's good information. But I think our council needs more time to consider this before considering a resolution.
Okay.
Truly. So if council is in agreement with that,
We need to table it.
we'll
Yeah,
table this
And
and
this direction.
bring it back for discussion again at our next meeting.
Absolutely.
And if we have other questions, we can email you or.
Absolutely, I can
whatever.
leave you all my card, and you can
Please.
call me directly.
Yeah, that would be helpful. I
Absolutely.
think if we funneled them, because I don't want you to have to answer 6 people with the same question. So if you could just, we'll have them funnel their questions to Shirley and I.
Absolutely.
And if you'll leave us your contact
Yep,
information,
I absolutely will do that right
then we
now.
will bring that back.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Thank
And
you.
thank you for all your time. Thank you, Justin. for coming.
Absolutely, and I would encourage, if you do want to, in the meantime, talk to people in Durand or Corona where they're also working, kind of similar stories, please do so.
Okay,
Absolutely.
will do. Thank you so
Appreciate your
much.
time.
All right, thanks, everybody.
I
appreciate
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Looking on then at our agenda for the rest of tonight, we're at public comment. Is there anyone here for public comment? I don't think so. So we'll move on to communications from Shirley. Thank you, Beth.
Thank you.
All right, so a lot of things. Received a letter from Ron Krasecki, the ordinance enforcer. I regret to inform you that my final day as ordinance enforcement officer for the city of Perry will be today, November 14th, which was Friday. Please don't hesitate to contact me regarding any issues that I have been involved with recently, and I will try to be available to assist you in training a new employee. My time with the city has been enjoyable, and working with the staff has certainly been a fantastic experience. I apologize for the abrupt decision to depart, but due to personal issues, I had no other choice. Sincerely, Ron Krasecki. So we received that. We'll be posting a new position for that. I did receive from Woodhull Township a notice of public comment period and public hearing. They are updating their master plan. I have it here if anybody wants a copy of it or wants to look at it. Got that. The other correspondence I received was a public notice from Perry Township. They are going to, they're proposing to spit it out, their own zoning ordinances. So they're going to do their own zoning at Perry Township. So that's what this is about. There's a link here for the draft. If anybody wants that, I can give them that information. They already got the Perry Lakes information. Were you gonna talk about this email from Tom Bridges?
No, there was some information that came in that each of you got,
Yep, I gave
correct?
it to everybody.
It was concerning what we just discussed, so just be aware that that's out.
I did provide you guys, and there's a flyer back there, the food bank, their needs, wishes, during this season, so there's a list there. We are gonna, Megan posted it in the newsletter that we're sending out one day next week, and also we'll have a list up at our front desk. And then there's just flyers, recycling, save the date for the Christmas Fantasy, which is December 13th, Saturday, December 13th. Opening ceremonies are at 5:15 beside the fire station. Stuff the Helmer will also be on that day from 10 to 2 at the Village Fresh Market. And then the Ladies' Night, presented by Codettes, is back there at the back desk. I'm sorry, Friday, December 19th from 6 to 8. That's it.
The only item that I have to report is that the sale closed on our lot on South M52. Our net from that sale was $4,750. So the DPW has already or will remove the sign tomorrow, and it's no longer ours. Do we have any committee reports for tonight? Yes.
I'm sorry, one more thing.
Mhm.
Back to the kind of the ordinance enforcement, I will, beginning probably the second meeting of every month, if we have anything, I'm gonna start reporting complaints that come into City Hall. So you are informed on what is going on, what people are maybe complaining about, no names, no, that whole thing, but just so you kind of have an idea of what we are receiving. It doesn't happen all the time, but, I just thought that might be.
Helps to have council more informed. Yes. Great idea, Shirley, thank you. Any committee reports for tonight? Presentation and approval of the bills.
I move that we approve the bills as presented and the payment be authorized.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Thank you. Into old business, we have been discussing for the last few weeks here the proposal from American Tower concerning their lease, and bring it back now for further discussion. I think we've had opinions from a lot of people offered, from employees, from other council and so on. I made a call to industry people in the know who shall not be named, and I've given you copies of the information that they gave me concerning typical lease sales. So further discussion regarding this proposal from American Tower.
My opinion is that it's too low to accept at the rate that they want to give us. Just looking at
Yeah.
what we're giving us on a monthly basis.
Yeah, I think that's absolutely true, Bob. I think we've kind of arrived at that conclusion. The question is, one, do we want to pursue that by having a negotiator who's hired to see where that could go? Or, because we'd have to pay them whether
No matter what.
the lease is sold or not. Or do we want to continue the lease for its 10 more years at the rate that is agreed to in the contract? That's our options. Discussion regarding that.
I think we should need to continue the,
Yeah. I think we should continue the lease as well.
Unless we think we're gonna double the amount, and I don't think that's gonna happen, it's probably fruitless to
Yeah.
pay a negotiator.
Any further discussion regarding that? If not, I would look for a motion.
I did not write a motion.
That's
for that,
okay, I
because
think
know
we
what's
can
gonna
handle
happen,
that.
so.
I move that we extend the American Tower proposal and refuse the sale of the tower in the meantime.
Eastman.
Eastman.
So we'll refuse the proposal made by American Tower regarding the sale of the easement and continue with the contract.
Yes.
Mike has seconded it, Kamal has made a motion. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. I will let them know tomorrow. Thank you very much for that. I know it took a lot of reading and looking into and consideration, and we all appreciate everyone's input, Shirley and Megan included. So thank you very much. We also have under old business further discussion regarding the North Street right-of-way. Whether or not this should be, continue to be a right-of-way, or if it should be closed and allowed then to be utilized by the adjoining landowners. That's basically it. There's been issue with people who have backyards or side yards that touch along that west North Street, that's west of Lamb, that it has had some encroachment from personal property, things like trailers, a fence that has been built within the right-of-way. It's been investigated as to whether or not this is utilized for any utilities, and it is not. It doesn't have any in-ground or above-head utilities traversing along it. We've talked with John Souter, the DPW superintendent. He sees no future need for that, because where it dead ends at Mike's backyard. It dead ends at the backyard of house at Perry Lakes there. And everybody on the other side of that has their utilities. The people who front on Lamb Street and Meadowdale, they have their utilities from the street. John said if there ever needed to be new lines run, they would not need that space. It would go from street to street. So that is in a nutshell what I've learned about possibly needing it. Discussion? Thoughts?
if we abandon it, what does that cost?
Not much at all.
Okay.
Yeah. The communication from Justin English said that North Street is a dedicated public right-of-way. It's not an easement. Ownership has not reverted to private property owners. The city's primary options are to continue enforcing existing ordinances within the right-of-way and continue on with the status quo for North Street, focusing on preventing the offensive conduct, or, if deemed unnecessary for future public use, to consider a statutory vacation And if it determines that it has no future public purpose, council may initiate formal vacation proceedings under Michigan CL, whatever that stands for, MCL, 560.221.
Common, I think it's common law.
229. Common law, Michigan common law, thank you. This process requires notice, a public hearing, and a recorded resolution. So it's minimal cost, but there is a little cost to it.
My only question, because I tend to lean that way, is vacate it. But who gets the ownership of that? I mean,
It reverts to the adjoining landowners. I mean, truly, they own it now anyway.
Basically.
It's just that the city has had the right of way to,
But if you look at, I'm just looking at that,
yeah,
Right.
right?
who
Yeah.
benefits the most?
Well, she has the longest,
Correct.
right, yeah.
If that person takes it, then they gain the most, and they basically get
But
good.
They get half of it.
Yeah, that's,
And it's
I-
16 feet wide.
yeah, it's not very big.
No.
And I know that, we talked about that last week.
it's my understanding that some of the neighbors toward, Valley, I guess, already have their fences
Yeah.
in
In-
that area, so it's, they're
I think
already,
it's, yeah.
For them, they're not really gonna gain any property because they're already
They're already
using
using
it.
And I want to thank Shirley for giving me information I didn't have the last time, so I appreciated that.
So what's up to Mike's property? So does Mike get some of that?
No, it dead ends, it dead ends
It's
there.
actually further
Yeah.
south.
Is it
than
actually-
Mike's
Yeah,
house.
It's further south. It doesn't really dead end at
Not big
Mike's,
plans for
but
us.
it, yeah, it dead ends at somebody's backyard who lives there in Perry Lake.
on
It's
Clearwater.
not truly
On
Mike's.
Clearwater.
On Clear,
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
That's a little south of mine
I
and
just
Mike's
envisioned
house.
all these, you get this and you. That's all.
People
I
fight
would think
over
we'd-
smaller things than that.
We give up the right of way for just that section though, between, it would be west of Lamb Street.
correct.
Because
Yes,
we
and
never
keep the-
specified that.
yeah.
We keep the right of way from Lamb east to Main Street would stay
Yeah,
the
and
right
that's
of way
a,
for the city.
that's a lot wider. I
It's
mean,
wider,
so it
and
could
it also
have
has
potential
potential.
use, yeah, absolutely
I
that.
agree with that.
So
Are you comfortable with creating your own motion tonight, or would you like to table this one more meeting and have Shirley create a resolution based on Justin's
I'd rather
advice?
have, in my opinion, I'd rather have us have a motion that is clear and concise
Yeah.
with Justin's,
Yeah.
language.
Let's get Justin's input on a motion.
I move that we table and let's to discussion to next meeting.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Bob, to table the discussion on North Street until the next meeting for Shirley to have communication with Justin about a resolution.
And also, if I understand what Justin says, there needs to be a public hearing as well. Do we have that public hearing here? Do we send it back to the planning commission to hold a public hearing?
We'll check that out with
We
Justin.
need to
We'll
check that out with
clarify
Justin.
yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, I'll probably have to give a notice, 15-day
Yeah.
notice. the whole-
Clarify the
Yeah.
vacation process.
Yeah,
Mhm.
would the violations
Okay.
that have taken place will still have to be taken care of, correct?
No, because there's no, well, it's their backyard, and we treat backyards differently than front yards,
Okay.
if you get my drift.
Yeah.
And we don't have an ordinance enforcement officer anymore,
Mhm.
because he resigned.
That's true.
For a
The
while.
one though, the one situation, I think public urination is against the law.
It is, and that maybe could be taken to the police department
Correct.
with that complaint. So I'll talk with the chief about that.
Well, I mean, it's been months.
Right, it's probably
It's-
can't do anything
it's
about it
over.
now.
It's not happening now.
That's
It's
its,
the-
any future.
Ron spoke to him, took care of the issue, nothing's happened.
So
since.
perhaps that is taken care of.
Mhm.
That could be a moot point, yes.
Okay. So we need to vote on this motion that Kamal made and Bob seconded. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Okay, so just,
Motion
just
passes.
so I know, I'm sorry, I'm gonna speak with Justin about getting a resolution to vacate that
The
piece
west?
from west to,
From Lamb Street
yes,
to the
okay,
dead
just
end.
wanna make sure.
Yeah.
And then, ask him about the public hearing. Okay.
Well, the process to vacate it, that whole
Right,
process.
yeah, yeah, Mhm,
From Lamb Street to its dead end.
mhm.
And have him create that resolution
I
for
will.
us.
Thanks.
Okay, moving on then, sorry Megan. The 2024-25 audit presentation.
A little bit better, so, if I'm yelling too much, let me know. But again, thank you guys for accommodating me virtually tonight. I am down in the shareholder in charge of the city of Perry. I wanted to thank everyone for allowing Mark Shaver Hackett to be your city auditors. And I want to thank Megan and staff for all their help throughout the audit process. I know my team appreciates all the work that she does to coordinate everything. And then there's several other people that are helping her out as well. She's kind of our main contact, so we appreciate that, all of that help. And just so everyone knows, we are available year round. Any questions come up, anything like that, please feel free to reach out. Megan's pretty good about doing that. When things come up, but that's no problem at all. And we'd rather do for us throughout the year than to have it. So I will go ahead and get started. Looking at the independent auditor's report, page 3 of the PDF that I have on the screen. Basically, the first two paragraphs are really big ones. The paragraph, the audit of financial statements, governmental activities, and business type activities, major fund, and the aggregate remaining fund information. We believe that everything, in essence, is stated is materially accurate. So we have an unmodified audit opinion, which is a clean audit report. It's the best audit opinion that you can have. So while we do have some adjustments, we did have some adjustments to get there. Everything's presented correctly now, and nothing major kind of came up throughout the process. So the rest of this is just kind of standard boilerplate language once we have that unmodified audit opinion. Then I'm going to move into the management discussion and analysis section. This is a required part of the financial statements for FASB. It shows a comparison, and it really needs this page is the next page that shows you that. I really look at just because there's a comparison information. I think that's really good for me just because there's lots of statements in the back. Good to look at if you have specific questions, but you really paint, I think, a better picture for everything. So I'll kind of break it down. Governmental activities in 25, 30, 24. So governmental activities are all your 100 funds, 200 funds, really 100, 400 funds, and then the internal service funds can get lumped into these governmental activities for the debt presentation. So total assets this year is 4.1 million compared to 3.5 last year. Liabilities went down a little bit, about 100,000 from last year, but the deferred inflows and deferred outflows, the resources were pretty similar. The good thing to look at is, you did have a big investment in capital assets. I think a lot of that had to do with the repairing from the tornado that came through. You went from 2.8 million, almost 2.9 million in that position, to 3.6 million in that position. So that did go up. Governmental activities, looking at business type activities, those stayed pretty consistent. Assets were nearly unchanged. Liabilities didn't change by a lot. Your net position was pretty consistent. It went from 3.6 million to 3.9 million. So overall, your net position between all funds went from 6.5 million to 7.5 million. So you did get increased total net position by about $1 million overall. So that's the balance sheet. The next one is the changes in in that position, income statement, if you look, refer to that as, you'll see, even with the increase in fund balance in that position for the governmental activities, the total revenues actually went down on that, so it was 2.4 million last year, this year is only 2.2, which means we saw a big decrease in expenses from 1.8 million to 1.5 million, so that really was the driver in getting your that position up this year in the governmental activities. And then looking at the business type of activities, again, very consistent with your revenues from year to year. Expenses saw a slight increase, but overall it was less than 10% increase, so pretty consistent there as well. That's kind of the rundown of kind of the big picture of the financials, but happy to answer any questions on that. Any specific ones or financial statements that the board kind of saw in their packet prior to me presenting this information.
No questions.
No questions? Okay. All right. There was the letter that I wanted to point out as well. So at the end of every audit, you have to present this as the required implementation. Just lets us communicate to the council if there's any difficulties we encounter during the audit, anything that we kind of we said, we think it should be this way, management thinks it should be that way, and we have to consult anyone outside of that. If not, there was no uncorrected misstatements. There was some journal entries that we found or that we helped you with. Nothing out of the ordinary really came up too much. And so, not too much to disclose there. Again, we appreciate all the help that's done by Megan and her staff prior to us coming out there. We did have, it wasn't significant, but there was a few journal entries that we did. And when we combined all those journal entries together, they were a material amount in the fund financials, so we do have to disclose that on this letter. Again, nothing outrageous or that we saw. It was just we want to make sure everything was presented fairly. So when we found those, we discussed with the team internally there and made sure it made sense, and then posted those so everything would be corrected. The last thing is the letter of comments and recommendations. Each year, as part of the audit, we go through the process that you guys use to pay bills, to make payroll, to receive money in, whether it be state of Michigan funds or sewer or rubbish collection, things like that. And we say, okay, if something was going to happen internal control wise, where can we make a recommendation to make things stronger? There was a couple prior year recommendations that we've had. Reconciliation of the water, sewer, and trash is not routinely reconciled to the general ledgers. We have the program that keeps track of, what is receivable for those funds. It's not reconciled monthly or quarterly necessarily to that listing, so we just recommend that that's done. Even if it's on a quarterly basis, just to catch any major discrepancies there. Adjust as needed. And then we noted on our procedures with the SNA system, there's individuals who are no longer employees of the city and they're still active users in the system, so we want to make sure we get those cleaned up. And actually that was one from last year, and that looks like it has been taken care of this year, so we appreciate you looking at that and getting that cleaned up for the current year. That's really the basics, kind of a quick rundown, and happy to discuss anything else as you guys see necessary or answer any questions about the audit process, numbers, anything at all.
Council, do you have any questions, comments?
No, thank you.
I think we're
Thank you.
good. Thank you.
All right, fantastic. I'll work with Randy to make sure we get this submitted to the state. And as always, if you guys have questions, anyone, Megan has my contact, Mayor has my contact, I'm more than happy to come in, set up a meeting, whatever we need to, and help out in any way we can. So just thank you guys again, and appreciate you accommodating me. Hope you all have a great Thanksgiving. Yeah, we'll talk soon.
Thank you.
Thank
you.
Thank
Have a good day.
Sorry about that.
No, that's okay. Thank you for doing all that. We're looking for a motion to accept and approve the audit.
I move that we accept and approve the 2024-2025 audit presented by Luke Downing, CPA from Clark Schaefer Hackett.
Second.
We have a motion from Kamal, seconded by Bob. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay. Motion passes. Moving on under new business to our ordinance amendment, possible adoption of number 404-612, and so on.
Okay, I just want to remind everybody from our last meeting that both of these ordinance amendments that we're talking about grew out of some complaints within the city that our prior ordinance enforcement officer was trying to deal with, and suggested that we might make a couple of minor adjustments. I know they're not a panacea in terms of being able to cure our situation that we have, not only in our city, but in a number of other cities as it regards animals, more specifically cats or community cats at large, but feeling of the ordinance committee was that this was directionally correct to help the situation. I move that ordinance amendment number 404-612 animals and 612-0.01 domestic animals running at large, which was read at the November 6th council meeting, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Kamal. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Shirley, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Larry Lambert,
Yes?
Kamal Ghazi,
Yes.
Mike Connell,
Yes.
Bob Porter,
No.
Mindy Galvey.
Yes.
Kristen is absent.
And Kristen is absent.
It appears our motion passes. We have 4 yes and 1 no and 1 absent. Moving on then to item number 3, also a zoning ordinance amendment, number 405.
I move that zoning ordinance amendment number 405 chapter 3, general provisions, section 3.30, animals in residential and agricultural districts, which was read at the November 6th council meeting, be adopted.
Second.
We have a motion from Larry, seconded by Mindy. All those in favor of that motion, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, nay.
Nay.
Shirley, would you take a roll call vote, please?
Mindy Galvey,
Yes.
Mike Connell,
Yes.
Kamal Ghazi,
Yes.
Bob Porter,
No.
Larry Lambert.
Yes.
And Kristen is absent. So we do have a majority to pass this with 3 yeses and 1 no. I'm sorry, 4 yeses and 1 no. Motion passes. Do we have any other business that needs to come before council at this time? I would like to just say that I hope that the reporting that Shirley's going to start doing to share with council what complaints are being received here at City Hall will help us recognize some of the issues that need to be addressed. And, you know, nothing's perfect and nobody is perfect. I'm hoping that just that process and sharing information with the public too, because Shirley's gonna bring those reports here and the public can see those. Maybe we'll get some feedback that will be helpful. That'd be nice. So I'm hoping that will come about. Any other council discussions or observations tonight?
I have one. I
Yes.
appreciate that, and I think that's a great idea. Shirley's gonna bring us compliance. These ordinance that we just amended, that they got voted, is a waste of time and money. Because one, they're unenforceable, it makes it too hard or harder for anyone trying to help the TNR, the community cat stuff. I wish you guys would have reached out to the, you know, the rescues and stuff around here to fix this problem for addressing to one or two people who say it's not their animal. And if it's, you have evidence of the contrary, we have, not that they do a very good job, we do have a animal control officer in county, Shiawassee County now. So I don't think that we exhausted all the avenues. I really don't see how this is gonna affect anything other than make somebody feel good. Because the situation that I know that this was addressing, or part of what I know, that person was offered help and refused it. And the person who complained a lot was offered help and didn't want it. So, I don't know how you're gonna enforce this. I really don't. I think we've paid money to a lawyer, and we're gonna change our rules, and there we go.
Well, we didn't pay money to the lawyer, other than perhaps
He reviewed
10
it,
minutes
he
to
reviewed it,
review
so
it,
we
yeah.
did pay money.
a little bit, Bob.
I'm just saying, it's.
But let me just say
Okay,
this,
please.
We are trying. What else can we do but try? Really?
But is it really trying?
Yes, it
Did
is
you
trying.
really read these
You
things?
come to the next ordinance meeting, Bob, and see. We are breaking our heads apart, trying to
But-
figure out how to address this.
How would
It's
there-
hard.
It's a national problem.
Yes, it is.
People dump cats, dump all animals,
Yes.
not just cats. Cats is the biggest problem.
Yes.
This is not gonna fix that problem.
I didn't say
Period.
it would fix it, but
At all,
it
it's
is
not
a
gonna do
step
anything. How's
forward.
it
Do
gonna
you
do
have a
anything?
better idea?
It's a step forward.
Larry has names of people who have helped with the last time this came up,
Those same
Wait.
people helped with the original ordinance.
not this part. Adding it, so a cat, if I own a cat, I gotta make sure it doesn't go off my property. Then ban outdoor cats, period. Can't have outdoor cats, have to be licensed. They have to be neutered and fixed. Those are that would actually do something, maybe. This isn't gonna do a darn thing.
Well, we appreciate your
So that's
observation.
suggestion is being.
We would appreciate.
How is this
encouraging-
fixing anything? No, I didn't say ban cats, I said ban outdoor cats. I have cats, they're inside, they don't go outside.
Yeah.
I have lots of cats that come visit me that I have to help try to save.
What
So what do we do, shoot it?
Your suggestion is banning outdoor cats?
That would stop that cat, okay, in this ordinance, it says I cannot let my animal, cat, dog, whatever, it doesn't say dogs, just as cats and other livestock, leaving my property. How do I prevent it? Now, you can do the invisible fence, I know people that do it on, or I shouldn't say I know, I have heard people use it for cats, maybe it works.
I
How
have
do you-
personally used it for cats.
Yeah.
Okay, so you can do that, so, but how are you gonna force somebody to buy that system and put it on their cat?
How do you keep your cats from going to other people's property?
I keep them in my house.
There you go.
Right, so
If-
ban outdoor cats, not just say I can't let it go over to the neighbors, because just like this situation, it's not my cat.
I don't know if it's meant for like it's.
But we
it's-
can't,
But
come on, wait,
it's
we
a
cannot
problem.
keep addressing one issue with ordinances that affect everything.
Do you lock the house at night?
Absolutely, it keeps out honest people.
Okay, but you lock the house. If someone wanna break in, they will still break in.
Sure, it keeps out honest
And-
people. Locks are made for honest
I
people.
think this is about the same concept.
No, it's not. It's not. I'm sorry, your heart's maybe in the right place, but you didn't think it all the way through, that's my opinion. I think there's
That's
other
kind
ways
of
to do it.
insulting.
I'm sorry, there's other communities that have community cat things. They feed them, they take care of them, they trap them, they neuter, TNR, release them. So you need somebody to care for those people. So one, they know what cats are there. Two, if a new cat came in, trap it, TNR. People dump here all the time, all the time. People figure out, oh, that person's feeding cats or whatever, and they dump them in that area. It's a problem everywhere. Everywhere. Only,
I don't disagree with that.
this isn't gonna fix the problem, guarantee it. I guarantee it.
I
It
don't
may
think-
make it worse, because you won't have somebody taking care of that cat, what little bit people do. And there's a lot more people than you think are taking care of cats.
Well,
in the
let's
city.
correct that. There's a lot of people in the city and elsewhere who put food out for the cats, and perhaps water. I don't call that taking care of cats. Someone who cuts a hole in their window screen so that cats can come in and out
It's
is not.
irresponsible. Absolutely.
Well,
We have lots of irresponsible pet owners.
Yes,
We have people who get pets and then, oh, can't have it anymore at my house, so I'm just gonna leave it.
yes.
Or, I don't like that cat, it's sick, or dog, and take it down the road and dump it out. It happens all too much.
Yes,
It's
it does.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
It should be unlawful.
Totally agree
But
with
not
that.
feeding a cat or taking care of an animal, I shouldn't even say just cats. Taking it is animal cruelty. It really is. So that's all, it's just.
We would encourage people to follow the recommendations from the community cats and the TNR program. And I felt that these changes to the ordinance clarified that that's what people needed to do. So we felt it was a step forward. I'm sorry that you think it was a waste of time. But I think you've made your point. Any other
Thank you for
discussion?
listening to me.
Yeah. Any other business that comes before council at this time? Or comments from the public? Or any council members? If not, our meeting at 8:47 is adjourned.